Today we are entering Göta and the Trollhätte canal. We will need to pass 12 bridges and 6 locks that will take us to Gothenburg, the second biggest city of Sweden. I don't think we will reach it today, but it's going to be a beautiful canal cruise and lots of maneuvering. First bridge is high enough to pass under for us by I think 2 meters. So cruising secluded archipelago is over for a while and we are looking a bit forward to city life. And I know many are a bit scared or worried for the locks, so I will not only show the beautiful surroundings but also tell everything about how this works. And it's about 9 in the morning, that's when the canal opens for leisure crafts, so we are on early. All the bridges has lights, so you can see if you are allowed to drive through or not. So it's a red light meaning no, and it's a red and white light meaning they are preparing for opening or soon gonna let you pass. And the green light of course allows you to drive. I already called the second bridge on the VHF. I got a bit stressed when it started to open really early, but then I recall it's for trains, so probably it's just not going to be any trains for a period of time. You call all the logs and the bridges on channel 9. Normally you have to wait at the bridges and you have to wait close enough to be seen at the cameras. So we will have to wait here for about an hour because they do some maintenance on the bridge. So we're gonna do some cake with our lifters from yesterday. Was it good?
Excellent.
You didn't have time to wait for the coffee?
No.
Hmm.
No. It was really good.
Oh, 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 oh. Mm.
Feeling hot.
The raspberries are really hot.
Vi lägger på babord för då kan vi köpa en glass.
Ja, för det kommer vara tiden antar jag.
Men vi hoppas att de kör fram då, för då borde det finnas fler platser. The absolutely easiest when you get into a lock is to grab a ladder. So then you can just change your grip when the boat goes up or down. But there is not ladders all the way. So you would like to stop where there is one. Those locks here are really calm, so it doesn't take a lot of strength to hold the boat. You can easily do it by hand. And that they are calm also means that there is no real disadvantage to be in the front part, which you might have heard that you shouldn't do or that you should try to avoid. Sometimes people think that you need to hold both in the bow and in the stern, but that's really not necessary and makes it much harder for the other boats to find a place to hold on to. So don't do that. And sometimes you figure out the other side is better to tie up to, but if you're going into a section with several locks, it messes up if one boat suddenly changes side. I'd say that's a big no-no. Kan jag få min jacka innan det börjar regna? Jag ligger där uppe. part of the locks in Trollhätte, and there has been some thunder and lightning, so they are out of power. So we're just gonna lie here for a while and wait and see, and there is not really any time estimate yet. But for now it's warm and everything is drying up a little bit. So I'm just gonna have a walk and see. Maybe we'll hear something soon. Men det är ganska fint när man kollar ner slussen. Jag tror att vi ska i så fall gå över och kolla. It took quite a while, and then we were allowed into the locks to wait. One thing to be aware of is that there is no sign or signal when they start.
Ja, då frågar vi upp.
So we just did the first in the big section of 4 locks, and we're gonna meet a big ship here before we can continue. Now we're also heading to where we pay the canal fee. It's 110 euro to go through all the locks and the bridges. They are actually taking boats both up and down at the same time. So once the port opens, you can actually meet a lot of other boats that you have to switch spots with, and that gets really crowded. It's not a lot of margins here. Those big locks are much calmer than some of the small ones, so It's just to it's just to hold the boat by hand, really. That was really stressful. We were going in like some of the locks have different sections, so you go like down and down and down, and when we're going the first way down, I realized like when they open the gates to just continue on into the next section, there were boats there, and I have never seen that before. So it's really like, it's not a lot of space, as you can see. And when they opened, there was 8 boats going into our section at the same time as we were going out to the other section, and I was also tying up at the wrong side, of course. So yeah, I did have my maneuver practice today. That's the least you can say, I guess. But it went fine. With the delays during the day reaching Gothenburg, this night was out of option. The canal staff was kind enough to let us through the last lock even though we arrived after closing hour. That meant we could continue further, and we decided to head for Kungälv to also have a morning view of the fortress before we were heading on. In the meanwhile, we were enjoying the beautiful surroundings. The 800-year-old fortress looked majestic in the morning lights, and we had a short walk around it before it was time to leave. In the next episode we are entering Gothenburg, and I really hope you liked this episode. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That is really helpful. See you next week. He's kind of melting into the background.